Say already. Atumre who said Haka. I am that I am Maarkku atumre of the I-9 Corporation. And we back to the dimensions. The 12 dimensions, baby, now. We're going to start out where we left off in the third dimension. So we can recap a little bit. Let's recap a little bit. Let's go back to the third dimension. Let's make sure we know where we left off at with the third dimension, right? The realm of form. The realm of form, the mind of the human conscious and animals, the highest kingdom. On the level of awareness of self as a separate entity begins, but begin to do limitation of the third dimensions, we are unable to remember the past lives. You know, okay, third dimension, we on the level of the highest rank of thought on third dimension for the animal kingdom and the human kingdom. Level of conscious mind, where all these things come together. Okay? On the third dimension, you know, on the tree of life, this is benign or Beth, which means house. Benign Beth, which means house. Now moving on from the third dimension, now we know where we at. Going on to the fourth dimension. Now remember the third dimension where everything comes together as a collective. Okay? All the events that took on in the first and second dimension, in the dimension of light, then move on to the second dimension. And all the events that went on from the first and second dimension are come together in the third dimension. Now moving on to the fourth dimension. The fourth dimension is the realm of time. Some call it the astral plane. This is the level of focus and information form change. This is also the dimension of the subconscious mind, and where one can tap into an advanced psychic abilities. That's what this research say. I ain't creating research. I'm just breaking it down, but it's very beautiful, and we're gonna break it all down to understand it. You hear me? Now on the tree of life, it's crazy how these dimensions in the tree of life coincide together. On the tree of life, it's called Chesed, mercy. It sits on the tree of mercy, on the pillar of mercy. In the Yazaric text, the fourth path is called the cohesive or the receptive intelligence because it contains all the holy powers and form. It imitates all the spiritual virtues with the most exalted existence. They imitate one another by virtue of primordial imitation. The highest crown, Kether. Kether goes right back to the first dimension. Remember on the tree of life? We went to the first dimension and to Kether, the tree of life, the crown, which you would call the chakras. If you're going to Buddhism, they call it the crown chakra. Okay, it'd be called. So as we move on out of the fourth dimension, now of the fourth tree of life, we move on into the fifth. Now, let's understand now the fourth is where all the events, and everything that came together created matter. Now this is the place where it becomes its own deity in the fourth dimension, what we might call God. What you might call God, which were in this dimension, the fourth, which this God has come to make its own material being. Because from the fourth to the second to the third dimension, it got to what a point it materialized, brought itself together to know thyself, and in the fourth dimension it stood and looked like now it's on. You hear me? Because you got to put yourself in it. As I read it and as I discuss it, as I research it, I put myself into it. You know what I'm saying? I see myself in it from the beginning of life, just like birth from a baby. You know what I'm saying? Like birth from a baby. You got the triple darkness. The light behind the light behind the light. Now the light behind the light behind the light becomes the fourth dimension, meaning that this child, this seed, or this deity has took form out of all the events. So you could just look at it basically just like a pregnancy. When they get down to the fourth dimension, you can look at it all as just like pregnancy. The events that went on to create the being came into its own being out of those events and stood. See, when you get the third dimension, are the occurrence of events that took place in the first and the second. In the first and the second is the light, the thought, the intelligence, knowing ourselves. Second is split, created itself into two. Even though it was one, it created itself into two. And those two that created itself, those two, that one that created itself into two, they created itself into two, came together, events that occurred, and created the fourth dimension, which is the being itself, which in title of Kabbala, love, majesty, is the God named El in the tree of life. It's the God named El. You reading the Bible, El, Elohim. Now in the fourth dimension, as we left off, the realm of time, some call it the astral plane. This is the level of focus, information, form, change. Form change, this is also the dimension of the subconscious mind, and where one can tap into the advanced psychic abilities. Now, we done talked about the fourth dimension and got that clear. Now let's move on towards the fifth dimension. Let's just see what the fifth dimension takes us. And this is called Kabbala on the tree of life. The Kabbala on the tree of life, the fifth sefer. Now the fifth sefer represents strength, severity. In Hebrew they call it Gamel, Beth, Varash, Ha. The Maarkku image is the warrior, the chariot, the planet Mars. It governs it. Now in the fifth dimension, the spirit realm is the possibilities of multiple time lines and the constant that this is the same in all, in the same in all. This is the dimension of the unconscious mind. The awareness of spirit starts to appear at this level. Remembering our higher selves is often felt in this dimension. Now in this dimension, we can feel our higher selves. The unconscious mind. When you do things unconsciously, when you do things by nature, you do things automatically. That's the spirit that they talking about. The things you do when you know somebody call your name, even when you at work, you just doing things like, I just do it now. It's just really by nature now. It's unconsciously. You ain't gotta think about what you're doing. You got a routine. That's what that is. That's a routine. See, the routine came from the first to the second, to the third, to the fourth, to the fifth, to what now you know what it is, you know what you got to do. You know what its capability is. In those dimensions, if you can see yourself inside them, then those dimensions represent what you want to do. Let's go back to the fifth dimension. It said once again, the spirit realm is the possibilities of multiple timelines and the constants that is the same in all of them. The consistency that is the same in all of them. In all other dimensions, the same in all dimensions. The consistency of everything that's the same, and they keep rotating it, filling it up. Okay? This is the dimension of the unconscious mind. Like I say, it's the consistency that is the same in all of them. The consistency is the same. And they keep rotating the same way. Just like at a job, anything, when you keep on, you know that first pattern, out of the first dimension to the second dimension to the third dimension to the fourth dimension, like any job, when you start to work constantly and do the same thing over and over again. In the fifth dimension, this is where you are at in your conscious mind. When you working, just think about it. When you working, they got your mind programmed in dimensional programming, basically. Because once you get to that point, they try to get you to the point you are a routine, you are a robot, you are know what to do. And you just do it consistently. In that dimension, you are in the fifth dimensional state of consciousness. This is where you are thinking. When you go to work, you go to the job, go in a fifth dimensional state of consciousness. I'm just letting you know now. Just getting it out. Let's get it out. Okay, let's go to the 6th. Now we're in the 6th dimension. Now remember, let's go back to the 5th. The 5th is called Barath on the tree of life. On the tree of life, it is the radical intelligence. Now, I don't want to go too far. I'm about to get excited to skip over it. I'm about to skip over it. But anyway, it's called Kabbala. Matter of fact, Kabbala on the tree of life. My fault, my bad. It's called Kabbala on the tree of life. The 5th path represents radical intelligence because it resembles the unity, uniting itself to benign understanding, which imitates from the primordial depths of Chakma. Now, what was Chakma? Y'all remember that? Y'all remember what Chakma was? From Chakma, y'all remember that? Huh? Y'all remember what Chakma was? Chakma was wisdom in the 2nd dimension. In the 2nd dimension, it was Chakma. Now remember, y'all, in the 2nd dimension, it was Chakma. Okay? This is what the 5th dimension, what it says in the 5th dimension, that Kabbala get its understanding and its strength from Chakma, from the 2nd dimension. It always goes back, no matter how far you go in life. Everything always reverts back. The 5th dimension goes back into the 2nd dimension to get to its understanding, which is wisdom. The 2nd dimension represents wisdom. Okay, it reaches all the way back. No matter what you do, you have to go back. Go back to your grandma and them, what they said, wisdom. You got to go back to when you was young, understand yourself. You got to go back. You always got to go back sometimes. Sometimes you got to go back. Now, let's get a recap. The 5th path represents the radical intelligence. It's the 5th on the tree of life, Kabbala. The 5th path represents the radical intelligence because it resembles unity, uniting itself to benign understanding, which imitates from the primordial depths of Chakma. Remember, Chakma is the 2nd dimension. With 2nd dimension, Chakma on the tree of life represents wisdom. And the 2nd dimension, remember, is the realm of information, lower animal kingdom. Resonating here is plants, the beings with consciousness acquired by DNA and genetic code, and the basic on the basic level. Okay, so in this realm, in this 5th dimension, you got to go back to basics, intelligence. You got to go back to nature, divine nature, basics. Because if you are in the 5th dimension, and in the 5th dimension has to go back to Chakma, in the tree of life is the 2nd dimension. Is on the 2nd dimensional level. You have to go back to that level, and in that level, in that realm, is defined on the level of plants at a lower form level, which is his nature, wisdom. Which Chakma represents wisdom. So wisdom is nature. You gotta lower your consciousness. You gotta lower yourself to understand and equalize yourself. You got the 5th dimension. Let's go on to the 6th dimension, y'all. Let's move forward. Let's move forward. The 6th dimension is the realm of the soul. It's the dimension of light. It's the dimension of life. In this dimension, one surrenders to the Gentile flow of the spirits of evolution to fit all the soul's possibilities. On the tree of life, this is called Tiferet, beauty. The 6th path is meditation intelligence, because in this multiplies the influxes of imitation, for it causes the influxes to flow into unity.